Welcome to Season 2, Episode 10 of Shop Talk presented by PopBet with Michael Chilton of Michael Chilton Racing.
Welcome to Michael Chilton Motorsports.
All right, Michael, thanks for allowing us to come up and visit and tour your shop and see what you got going on here. The first thing I always ask everybody is, how did you get started in racing?
Well, as a kid, like 4, 5, 6-year-old, Dad had a old street stocker's picture up on the wall there. And we went to races with him. Timmy Yeager drove for him some, and just random guys drove for him. He drove a time or two, but it wasn't really his thing. He just liked to take car to the races and fool with it. So he had that. We were always going to the races. If he didn't go to the races, I went with my grandpa every weekend. Every Friday or Saturday, we'd go to Bardstown, Ponderosa, or Lake Cumberland, so Richmond, somewhere within an hour drive.
Right.
So from that, there was a guy that lived down the road from us. He had a go-kart. Just a little small racing go-kart sitting outside for sale, and we drove by it, and I seen it, and I said, Dad, let's go look at that, let's buy it. And he's like, well, let's go turn around and look at it. And the guy went like, $500 or $600, it was cheap.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't much at all. It was like his whole offer had tires and everything. So he bought it, and I think I was 12 at that time. And we bought it, raced it. I think it was in the middle of summer. We finished up the year racing it down in Broadhead. They had a little track that didn't race for money, didn't cost nothing to get in. Basically, they had a class for kids, class for the adults. It was just for fun.
Just a good time.
You get a trophy, that was it.
Gotcha.
We raced there, I don't know, 5 or 6 times. We done mediocre at best. And then we moved into the go-kart, or the mini cups, which are pictures of those over there. But they were like the half size, third size. We raced one of those on asphalt, and just kind of from there escalated up. So we raced those from the time I was 12 and 13 to 15 and 16. That's when we went straight from those. Raced a Chevette one time for a buddy of mine who just owned it, and then we bought a late model sometime in the middle of the year I was 15.
I got you. So what's been your favorite to drive so far?
Super late models.
Super late models. Yeah. Is that what you see yourself staying in from here on out?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't really, the money in these cars, they're super expensive, don't get me wrong, but for the amount of money that we race for,
right.
I mean, I don't feel like there's any other motorsport out there that you can race for the money that you race for in these cars. I mean, even you look at something like the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, what they pay to win, we ain't paying nowhere near what a lot of these races are paying to win. Right. So I feel like I like these cars. I mean, it's kind of what I've always wanted to do, and I feel like I always stick with it.
Gotcha. What's some of your biggest accomplishments since you started racing?
The biggest one probably for me was the first year we made the World 100. That was a big deal for us. You know, we've won several. I always wanted to win a 10 or $15,000 race. We won a couple of those last year and the year before. We won that Ironman point still last year. So I'd say the next step I'd like to do would be win like either a Summer Nationals, World Outlaws, or Lucas race. That would kind of be the next step I would feel like for us.
So what are some of your 2023 plans?
Are
you guys just taking it one race at a time?
Kind of taking it one race at a time right now. Like pretty much we've got the month of March figured out. We're going to go to Smoky Mountain and Boyd's next weekend. Then the following weekend you got the 100,000 Bulls Gap.
Yep.
Then I think the following weekend is the makeup for the fall 50 or the spring 50.
Yep.
And then we're going to do the 6th, April 6th. There's a race at Bulls Gap. I think it's the Larson race.
Yeah,
we're going to do it. I don't know if we're going to go to Whitfield on Friday or not. Then we're going to do Tazewell on Saturday, and then like kind of stuff around here starts to open up. And we may run the Tilly series depending on schedule. And I really honestly haven't sat down and looked at the calendar yet. I've looked for the first part of April.
Yep.
That's about as far as I've looked at. So we'll kind of see how March and April go, and just kind of see how we're running. If I feel like we need to be going racing Lucas race, or if we need to be going running a regular show.
Right.
Just kind of feeling how we are.
Depending on where you're at in the season. Yeah. One thing I like to ask drivers too is what is your favorite region to race in? Because I know you get into Illinois, it's got different dirt. You go down south, it's got different dirt. Like
right now, my favorite area is East Tennessee. Like Tazewell, Bulls Gap, the old Smoky Mountain. I haven't been to the new one yet, of course. I loved that place before, but I feel like it's gonna be really good now. I haven't made it over to Illinois yet. I'm afraid if I do, I won't want to race anywhere.
Just go to
all those places are elbows up, big cushion, like that's kind of more my style of racing. But as for right now, that East Tennessee area is my favorite.
I got you. How did you get to number 97? I wanted to ask you that. I thought about that on the way down here. How did the number 97 come about?
All right, so back in the day, Dad had a lawn care business, and I mowed grass one time I was later 9 years old. He had a special weed eater made for me that was smaller, so I could weed eat. But anyway, back then, John Deere sponsored the Chad Little NASCAR, and it was number 97. The first mini cup we bought was the black and red. It was from a guy in Harrisburg, number 35. We raced it that whole year. And then for Christmas that year, he took that body and painted it up just like the old, it was the Brickyard 400 version of that car. It was black and gold with the John Deere car. And he painted it just like it, had the 97 on it, and just from then on it stuck.
It just stuck with you. I got you.
Yeah.
And right now you're running a Rocket, correct? Yeah. Are you a Rocket fan? Do you like Rockets?
They've got their moments. Yeah. I mean, there's places I felt the Longhorns are better.
Right.
There's places I felt the Rockets are better, but Rockets been good to us. They give us a good deal on stuff. They're good about feedback. And
I got you.
I mean, I've got so much invested in the Rocket. We've got 2.5 cars. We've got enough bodies and spare parts to build 5. I feel like. So it's just like everybody's like, well, you need to try longer. You need to try longer. I'm like, it ain't just as simple as just trying something different. I mean, it's a lot of. We've got so much invested that I feel like this is our best situation right now for these cars.
So let's talk on that a little bit. From a driver's perspective, when you go into a season, what do you look at? Because a lot of the guys that we've talked to really aren't like touring series guys, right? You don't focus on one series or whatever. I mean, we did talk a little bit about this calendar, but what's your mentality? Is it just month by month? Because money sometimes plays a big role in this, like you said.
Yeah, money plays a big role. And like last year, we kind of committed to that Valvoline Ironman series. We done the Northern End stuff. It was like 31 or 33 races. And there was a few times, like for instance, we had to go to Alabama to Duck River. We went to Duck River and then Talladega and somewhere else that weekend. We had to miss the North-South. I don't know what I'm going to do as far as that goes, but it's kind of those deals. What's going on that weekend? What the weather looks like for one. A lot of people don't look at it, but I look at like, is it $1,000 to start or is it $300 to start? Like if you go somewhere you can, because I mean, I've got one guy, he keeps all the motors up and he helps out a lot, but for the most part, the rest of this I keep up. So, kind of where we feel like we can go and be competitive, make a little bit of money and still, learn something from that weekend.
From a fan's perspective, a lot of times we're like, well, you just drop that one and go get it, it's not always that easy. You got to take into consideration of your start money, weekly maintenance. You can't just say, oh, just take this chassis and throw it out back. And
that's right. A lot of times, like I say, people said, well, you need to switch this and that, but it's just, you got it ain't like you can just go get a new. And yeah, people I've seen get a brand new car, they go from Rocket to a Longhorn or Longhorn to whatever, and right out of the box they win. But it's like you go somewhere that you haven't raced yet, you don't have any notes. Like we've got so many notes for these cars, it's just hard for us to see a change.
Yeah. What we do is we always do a fast five, okay?
Okay.
At the end of this segment, I'll ask you 5 questions.
Okay.
And you give me one word answer, or you can explain your answer.
Okay. All right.
So, what is your favorite restaurant?
Favorite restaurant, steakhouse wise, would be Malone's in Lexington.
Okay.
I'm a fan of chicken wings. There's a place called Rumors in Louisville. It's really good too.
Really
so
good
it's kind of a toss up between those two.
I got you. Favorite movie?
Favorite, Days of Thunder.
Days of Thunder. If you couldn't be racing, what would you be doing?
I don't know, honestly. I think about that. Like, if I was to quit, like, what would I do? Like, times I'm like, heck with this, I'm done. I don't want to do it anymore. And then I'm like, what would I do? I mean, you might get a boat or get a razor, but you can only do that so much. I feel like, and it would get old. So
that is a very hard question for a lot of racers.
I mean, I would probably, if I didn't have race cars, I definitely would have me a boat of some sort and a razor, and I don't know, I'd probably work a whole lot more if I didn't race. And I feel like I'm taking off days trucking to go work on a race car, but that's probably what I would do, would be do some racer riding.
Right. Favorite track?
Favorite track, Bull's Gap, hands down.
Hands down?
Yeah. Especially now that Vic Hill's got it. Since he hasn't. He had it there for a while last year, and he's doing the track prep, and since he's been doing track prep, it's been awesome.
It's nice.
Smooth, slick, you can race all over it. It's definitely my favorite.
Right. If you had to pick one race, and one race only, to win, what would it be?
World 100.
World 100.
Yeah.
That's a good
That would be,
choice.
that would be if it was only one, that would be it.
It's not really, I mean, money's always nice for you guys, but it's the prestige.
Yeah, the World 100. I mean, like the Dream pays more, twice what the World pays, but just to have the globe sitting here would be pretty awesome.
Awesome, yeah. All right, so we're gonna walk around now, and we'll check out the shop, see what you got going on, and check out your weekly operation, and talk about your sponsors and that type of stuff.
Okay.
So stick with us. All right, so we've been talking, and one cool aspect about Michael's shop is that we had no clue until we got talking later, is this used to be an indoor pool in this garage. So we got to talking about it, and you can see the outlay of the pool. So this is where, we'll just let Michael explain it, because it's just neat.
All right, like when I bought the place, it had just a subfloor over it. So we tore the subfloor out, and the pool walls, it kind of started to sag a little. So we filled them in with gravel, concreted. But you can see, like, this is the pool, this is where the steps were that you went down into the pool. It's, I don't know, 14 feet wide there probably. And you go to that end, there's the bracket where the diving board's still in it. If you come over here, you can see the skimmer box. Where the skimmer was, like, the skimmer box for the pool water. It's actually here. And you can tell the floor kind of slopes, I guess, so
For water
drain back into it, yeah. So it's kind of neat. A lot of guys think, this shop, but I was like, it was kind of here. We just kind of turned it into this. But this used to be a swimming pool.
Yeah, so whenever we were walking around, I kind of noticed that the floor was uneven.
Especially like once you get past right there, it's real bad. But we don't have a perfectly level spot to work on a race car, but it's pretty close over there.
So for all the fans watching, Michael's shop used to be an indoor swimming pool.
That's right.
So
the plus to it is it does have its own heat and air unit, so it is air conditioned in here in the summertime.
Nice.
So it does help.
This just adds a whole new perspective to the shop.
Yeah, it's different. Cool. It's different. You probably won't go to anybody else's shop that used to be a swimming pool.
Right. That is awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're going to walk around the shop here and check out what all Michael's got going on. So we're going to start here. We're just going to work our way around, and then Michael can explain what is what. So what do you got going on here? Because I know like a lot of this machining stuff starts on this side of the shop. So
yeah, this is kind of like where we do a lot of welding, just repair stuff. We end up putting a lot of our ball joints, A-arms, all that stuff together here at this table. Be a lot of smaller sheet metal spoiler side stuff out where it's sturdy. Just kind of got our welder set up right here. It seems like we usually keep one car. This car's usually over a little further, so this is kind of where we, the table we use during the week to work on all that stuff. Yeah.
Keep everything
out there. And then like that picture right there, they used to be in our house. It was over our TV in our old house where I lived as a kid, and that's the car Earnhardt flipped at. I think Talladega got back in and kept going. And I ended up, when Dad passed away, I ended up with all of, he had like a crazy amount of Earnhardt stuff. And for some reason as a kid, that was always my favorite picture. So
that picture right there has maybe 1,000 words.
Yeah, so we just kind of hung it up in here, and it's kind of one of my favorite pictures we've had in here.
That is awesome.
And then like here's some checks, like That was a race at Lake Cumberland that we started in the back, and then that one says, "Where's the cone now?" We hit the cone in the heat race. I think we won the heat race. We hit the cone. They put us back 3 or 4 spots. We started like 15th and still won. So that was kind of a stat we wrote on there just because it was one of those deals.
Where's the cone?
Yeah, where's the cone? That's just an old picture that my wife seen and thought was neat and old car, so we threw it in here.
That's back in the day, ain't it?
That's old. I don't know what year this would have been, but it's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
old.
pretty old.
This was an old Earnhardt tire that come from, I think, Daytona when Dad went. He picked it up and brought it back. Earnhardt signed it. It was off his car. It used to be in our house. Like I said, our whole living room, our old house was just full of
Earnhardt.
literally the whole living room was just Earnhardt cars and whatnot. So, and then there's a check last year from Portsmouth we won. That's a place I never thought we'd win. Always sucked there, but we were really good that night. You got several. There's a 500 from, I think, Fast Time. That was a Memorabilia bonus. We won the points for like those 3 days. They had like a deal down there.
Oh, I got you.
And then that was, let's see, I think that was the first Lake Cumberland, or the first Harold Hargrove race that I won, that $4,000 race, I think. And then, you know, you've got, here's our lathe here. Bobby, actually, the guy who helps me, he kind of keeps all this stuff together during the week when I'm out trucking. He bought that just to kind of play around with, and I didn't think it'd be too useful. We've used the crap out of it. We should have bought that thing 10 years ago. Making bushes, just cleaning stuff up, like it was just a cheap one, but man, it really is handy. And like our drill press belt sander, we use that a lot of times, like grinding edges off body brakes, just trying to keep, you know, sharp edges off stuff to keep stuff from getting in tires and cutting them up. We kind of required all this stuff right here the past 6 months, and it's been come in handy. It's one of the deals that like, well, we need to buy this, and let's just buy a tire instead. Right. But over the winter, we kind of bought some new tools and stuff, and it's made things.
And how did you live without it?
Like once we got both those things, I'm like, we should have bought this 10 years ago. Like, how do we get by without it? We used to just use a grinder, but that's just so much easier and faster. And then those are some old plaques that when they had articles in Dirt Lake Model Magazine. This one's 13, that one's from 14. Both those are from whenever I was driving the Revolution car for Frank Rebel.
I got you.
Got quite a few different notes about that in there. That's the 10th annual Hargrove. I don't remember what year that was. I think that was maybe last year, the year before last. We won that one.
I like how the checks you put them on the sill.
I know, like I just hang on the wall. And because we already had pretty much everything already decorated.
Right.
It's like with the way these walls are kind of tiered, it kind of works out pretty good, I thought. And
I like it.
Drywall like the best in here, kind of covers up some bad spots.
There you go.
And then like this weekend here was one of my favorites. It was the first weekend we won we won some bigger races, but it's the first time I ever won on Friday and Saturday. That was actually the last race that Dad went to. And the bottom check on the 13th was his birthday. So that's kind of a neat deal that, that we've got that, and we hung those two checks together just because they were won, that same weekend.
Yeah.
So. And then here's just a table. It's usually just a catch-all. It's just usually got clutter and junk on it. This is our 440, I think, Bullock. It's got like 400 or 500 laps on it. It's for sale if anybody's looking for a good,
got a motor for sale.
Good wide bore, 13 degree. I think it's a 430 or 415. I'll have to look and see. We've got it for sale if anybody's looking for one. Just some kind of Earnhardt memorabilia, just to kind of decorate the walls. Got our Trump flag.
Trump.
Yeah, and then another welder, because they usually seem to be preparing a lot of stuff around here. I knocked the deck out a lot. Kind of got a stock here. We're going to start just kind of doing some of our own deck bars and just try to save a few dollars here and there when we got time. And then back here's where Bobby, he does all my sheet metal work for the most part. You got metal stacked back there. Scrap bin, that way you just don't have scrap aluminum piled everywhere. And then got bits and pieces and parts laying everywhere. And then this door here, that's from the first late model that I ever had.
Really?
Yeah, that's the very first door I ever had. That would have been back in 03, I think. It's crazy, you look at that now and I'm like, man, that's a good looking car. Yeah. Oh my God, it's hideous. Like, you look back at pictures of cars you think look good, and then you're like, man, that's awful.
It's come a long way.
Yes.
Yeah. And like just the way the whole wrap design.
Yeah, just there, back then it was now it's all one big piece. And back then you had individual stickers.
And the funny thing is they used to hand paint them, and then they go to decals, right? Then the old hand painted guys are like, well, it's come a long way, but then now you look at it, it's like
it's way different. Yeah, and it was way cheaper when it was like that. Yes. But like everything in racing, the costs just went through the roof. But I guess.
But it is cool to look back at the old.
Yeah, I thought we always kind of hung it up there just to Out of all the doors I've ever had, that's the one I've always wanted to keep just because it was the first late model I had. And I've actually got, they're up in the barn, but they're covered in dirt and dust. Like those, some of the mini cups I had.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of those, the full bodies off those. I'm wanting to splice them in half, or either splice them in half and hang them on the ceiling, or turn them upside down and hang them on the ceiling. I've still actually got my first go-kart too at my mom's house, so.
That'd be cool.
I'd like to try to get all that in here, but I just haven't had time to get it all in here. You know how that goes.
Gotta get to the races first.
Yeah, yeah. And then that's just, that's the very first t-shirt we ever had made.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was when we had the mini cups.
Yeah.
We didn't have a whole lot of them made, but somehow we ended up keeping the print off of it.
That's cool.
And that's actually a blanket that my wife had made. And we ended up, didn't really have no one in the house, but it's like, we'll just hang it in the garage.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, like here you got our patterns, all kinds of different random stuff here for patterns for bodies. They're great. Like I say, Bobby keeps most all the bodies, and then we do a lot. That's why this car here, he keeps it in here some. It's Jeremy Barr's crate car.
I got you.
Got the sides on it, and he does a lot of bodies for other guys here. So there's a lot of different. The neighbors probably wonder what in the heck's going on here, because there's always my trailers, you know, it's moved 3 or 4 times a week in and out, and then you've got other people bringing cars, dropping them off, people dropping off on rollbacks, and I'd say the neighbors wonder what's going on around here.
Cars everywhere.
That's right. And then like this here, this is the door that was on the first year we made the World 100. That's the actual door off that car. And that body was brand new when it went. Every dent, scratch, and tire mark coming from the heat race there.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, like it seemed like they were after me in the heat race. Just one of those deals, kind of was a rough heat race. Everybody was beating and banging. We started on the outside pole, and like me and McDowell got together. Me and Greg Johnson got together. Me and Shirley got together. Like it was just a freak deal, but we ended up ripped that whole.
I seen it was stitched all the way down.
We stitched all that at the racetrack between the feature.
Really?
And it was kind of a neat deal to even make the race, but you know, to win the heat race was a pretty big deal for us.
Definitely some sentimental value to that.
Yeah, especially back at that time. I mean, it's like we got nice stuff now. Don't get me wrong, but back then we had nice stuff, but nowhere near like we should have probably run 5th in that heat at best, and we won it. So it was kind of a neat deal to us.
Definitely a great memory.
Yeah, and that's just an old tire rack there that just got some random old junk tires on it, a few new ones on it.
Big conversation piece in 2023 tires.
Yeah,
a lot going on with tires.
The new tire deal was kind of like we had all our tires for pretty much everywhere. I thought I hadn't looked at the rules for Ray's deal at 411 last weekend. And like Thursday, I looked at the rules. I figured it'd be 1350 or the new style stuff. Like crate 21s, crate 55s. I'm like, are you serious? I don't have any. So here I am. Once we decide to race, we're scrounging around trying to find tires. So we found what we needed. We had to get some ready down to the racetrack, but Hoosier took care of us and got us some tires, so that helped out. But
it's a big conversation piece.
Yeah, these new tires are they're gonna throw a lot of guys for a loop, me included. So we just have to kind of go from there, I guess.
But racing ain't what it is without tires, I guess.
No,
it's kind of hard to go forward.
You know, everybody said, well, they're $250 a piece. Or I'm like, yeah, but it's the only part of the race car that touches the ground. No matter how good your race car is, if you got junk tires on it, ain't gonna matter. So you gotta keep new ones on. And then like this, the crash cart that Bobby, he builds a lot of crash carts, pit carts, jack stands, just odd and stuff for, you know, customers, and he'll sell a lot of stuff online. This is a crash cart we're about in the process of building.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's big. We just finished ours last weekend, the first weekend we had at the track, and I mean, it holds all your bodies, nose, rear end fits over there. We got to put the axle and stuff under it still, and it's got aluminum cabinets in the front and back just for car covers and tarps and just all that. It's just so much easier if you can just roll out a trailer and all your stuff's right there, you know where it's at.
Absolutely. That's nice.
It keeps things organized, and the way we race and as much stuff as I tear up, we need to know where deck bars and spare deck panels and stuff are when we get to it. So it just, I think and then it frees a lot of room up in our trailer too to put more stuff in.
Right.
Yeah, and then like that's like some more Earnhardt memorabilia. Like I just kind of kept the bits and pieces of dad stuff that I remember as a kid. A lot of it we sold and got rid of because I just didn't have room for it.
You can't go wrong with Earnhardt.
Yeah, I mean, Dad was a diehard Earnhardt fan. He had every single RCCA in action, bank and clear window 124 scale that he made up until he died. Like it was that. There's a closet I will get to it, and it was stacked ceiling to wall. Like with his die cast and memorabilia stuff. Yeah, and then you got
favorite beer bush light.
Oh yeah, that's the only
absolutely.
That's the only beer. I said his shirt.
Absolutely.
Looks like a bush light. Then you go over here, you got like the guitar. I actually won that over whenever I drove. It was at Smoky Mountain. I drove for Chicky Barton. He had a car, he hadn't raced a brand new car, I'd never been racing. He's like, you wanna race this thing? I'm like, you seriously want me to race a brand new car? And he's like, yeah, come down here, we'll hang out Friday night, we'll go to the races. And we didn't have the best car there, we probably had the third best car, but things went our way, some guys fell out, and we ended up winning that race. And
that's
he
awesome.
gave me the guitar, it was pretty neat.
It's a cool trophy.
It's a cool trophy. Like I like trophies like that are stuff like it's different, like you know, instead of just your basic plain Jane trophy.
Yeah.
And then that's the 10,000 from the Johnny Mulligan race. That was probably one of my favorite wins. Me and Johnny were big buddies, and he helped us out a lot, you know, throughout the years racing.
Gotcha.
It was kind of weird. Like I don't at the racetrack. I'm not a cocky or arrogant. I don't think anyway.
Right.
We pulled in that night and qualified, or hot lapped, and we were really good. I told the guys like, we're winning tonight. Like there ain't nobody got anything for us, and we won that night. So I don't know. It's like Johnny was riding with us. It was pretty neat.
Yeah,
Pretty
that
neat
is
deal.
cool.
And then that $1,000 check, it's from the B-Main Scramble, which ain't much, but it's a check from Eldora, so.
I think it's cool that they do stuff like that.
I do too, like, cause a lot of guys, I mean, I'm more likely would never have a check from Eldora hanging here, but it's pretty neat. It's just $1,000, but it's pretty neat to have in here.
At the Million race last year, we were talking mentally with the guys about it'd be cool if they ran like a non-qualifier race. Because Brownstown's done that
Yes.
a bunch, non-winners race, sorry. And they end up doing it.
Yeah.
That's so
That's
cool.
the neatest thing.
Yes.
Like Eldora really seems to be like they're trying to get for people who've never won their stage. Like, you know, and even if you run second or third at a non-winners race, that's a big deal at Eldora. And I feel like that them doing that non-winners race, I hope they keep doing that throughout the years because I think it's a good deal. And I think it also draws a lot of guys who have never been. It helps up their car count.
Right. Yeah.
So it's a good deal.
Just to be on that stage.
I mean, it was just to be Maine. We missed the dream by one, but it sucked. But it was still like pretty exciting to be on stage. Eldora was kind of
Absolutely.
neat. Then you got the 10,000 from Tazewell. That was a place that used to hate me. Like we'd go down there and tear up everything every time we went, and we finally got where we kind of figured it out, and it was pretty neat to go there and win a race too. Those three there are probably some of my favorite checks I've got in here.
I got you.
And then you got, see one of these, that's the Spring Nationals at Ponderosa. I think it was the first Spring Nationals race we won. And then there's several Lake Cumberland checks in here. It seems like Lake Cumberland's always been good to me. We raced a lot there, but that place has always been good to me. Yeah, it's just one of those places that it fits me. You can kind of, if your car's the best, you can knock the deck out, bang off the wall a few times, and carry it and make some speed. Not like you just got to hug that ball in no time.
They're doing some improvements there this year.
I think they're doing some stuff. I seen they're putting some dirt on it. Last year it didn't race as good as I felt like it had in the years before, but he's putting some new dirt on, so I'd say it'd be pretty good this year. And then like here you got, this is the asphalt version of the mini cup cars we raced. We had both those cars in the Carl Casper car show in 2001. That's the asphalt one, and then this is the dirt version.
Do they race those anymore?
Very rarely. Like you'll see them a few places. Like we raced the asphalt ones at Sports Drums where we started. We raced there every Sunday, like from till it was warm till it was cold. And we raced with like Will Campbell, Frank Campbell, Cody Mahoney raced them. There's a lot. Philip Snellen, who used to work for McCready, was his crew chief. He raced those with us. And like still, like me and Cody talk a lot. Me and Will Kimmel still talk. It's kind of neat that all the guys that race those together, we still talk a lot. And back then, like there would be 15, 20, 25 cars.
Really?
Yeah. And then kind of they tried the dirt deal, and it was kind of popular at times. They had a pretty good like touring series. Like we went to Iowa, Virginia, Indiana. Like we were traveling, we weren't paying nothing. Right. But we wanted to race, and Dad was dragging us. We were going everywhere racing them. It was a good time, and you definitely learned a whole lot about. And Dad made me like do all the maintenance on it. He's like, if you wrecked it, because it was all fiberglass bodies, and he's like, if you tore it up, if you want to race, when you get home school, when you get home school, go mow grass. When you get home grass, go fix the race car. Yeah, and it taught me a lot about just taking care of, keeping up on your stuff and maintenance and stuff. And he was big on making me learn to do a lot of that. So that definitely helped out throughout my racing career. And then you got some more round checks. There's the 2022 Northern points deal from this year. That's an fire suit. Well, I was a lot skinnier.
Yeah, I was
a whole lot skinnier back then. That would have probably been when I was 15 or 16. R&P Industrial Chimney over in Bergen.
Yeah.
Timmy Yeager and some guys had their cars they own their cars, and they were helping us out a little bit. And I think he ended up buying us that fire suit. So,
I got you.
that was the first actual nice type fire. It's not just your plain jet. Yeah. So I thought, well, that's neat. And I kept it, and my wife's dad made that little shadow box for it. And
First race suit that had actual stitching with
yes,
sponsors.
it was first.
Yep.
First one we didn't just order off the internet, just a basic plain Jane one. So.
Right.
And then here we got some tires that we got mounted up and got ready to go to Smoky Mountain, and then they canceled, so we'll get those ready for Smoky Mountain and Boyd's this weekend.
Yep.
And then,
At least you got that part of it done, I guess.
yeah, we got them mounted, still got to groove them, but I will say one thing, these are a whole lot easier and a lot faster to mount and groove than like your traditional rib stuff. Yeah, like I feel like it's probably about half the time.
Well, that makes it better.
And it's, they're already block cut, so I mean, about anybody can groove those.
Right,
They're just not as technical as some of the other stuff, I feel like.
I got you.
There's like that's off one of the old RC cars I had as a kid that a buddy of mine decaled up that looked like one of the mini cups we had. I think it was actually that car right there is the one that it was made.
I got you.
And then there's the Charlie Sports Race one that was also a Portsmouth check, yeah. We got some random checks here and there. That's the Rockin' with the Stars. That was at Smoky Mountain when I drove Chicky's car. Then Atomic used to not like that place, and learned to like it. Like it's one of my favorite tracks. Now it's a long way away for us, it seems like, but it's a really good track.
I've heard a lot of good things about it.
Yeah, it's different. Like I feel like that's one reason like me and like Devin, Josh Moran or Josh Rice, and them guys are good there because it's elbows up.
Elbows up, yeah.
But then you also got like old man Conley run around that bottom. And at the end of he was second, and I was like ripping the cushion like he's on that bottom, just putting along. And we were pretty close. Like you can kind of be all over the place there.
Yeah.
So that's one place I've learned to like. And then we got just some random stuff. This is our junk room. We got extra decking, headers, fuel cell, scales, which we don't really use anymore. Just all kind of random decals. I try to keep the garage halfway straight, so the clutter just gets thrown in here. I wasn't even going to shove it down. I thought, hell, they might even
shove it in the closet. Shove it in the closet.
Shove it in the closet.
That's right. Well, this is a pretty cool area over here. This is just the memorabilia?
Yeah, just kind of some oddity and stuff. Like that's a picture from Atomic. That was, I think, the body and stuff when that thing was brand new. I just thought it was a neat looking picture.
Yeah.
You got several trophies. There's actually this, if you can see it or not. Here's one of the mats from Eldora that they sell up there. This is actually the heat race that I was leading. That's my car there.
Oh, I got
it took us forever to figure that out, but that was McDowell had the red and black one.
I got
and
you.
I thought, that's pretty neat that like
Yeah,
it's got
it
a
is.
picture of us there. It just kind of worked out that way. You got some random trophies. Pictures from feature win at Fall 50, just some Hoosier banners, just kind of a little bit of everything in here. Some random trophies, 10,000 from Tazewell, kids' toys, you can see there everywhere.
Every garage has a fridge in it.
It has a fridge.
Has a fridge.
It's got Busch Light in it.
Yep.
Some water, Busch Light, and Bobby's got some Monsters in there. He drinks the heck out of those. This desk, I used to have my iRacing set up in
Oh,
here.
did you?
Yeah, and I ended up moving in the house because a lot of times in the winter it'd be cold out here.
Right.
And then there's just some kind of random plaques. My daughter actually drew that for me, so I thought that was
That's
pretty
awesome.
neat. So we framed it. Got old helmet, just like some kind of just memorabilia to decorate. That's a neat trophy. Like we're talking about trophies. Like
Yeah, that is a
I
cool
just
trophy.
think like you'll see like that one, like Smoky Mountain always does something for the moonshine race down there, and like I just feel like that's neater than like. I mean, these are nice, don't get me wrong, but if you can do trophies like that, I just think
They stand out.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a guy's a lot more likely to keep a trophy like that,
Yes.
I feel like, than
They're just the
because
regular
it's
trophies.
weird. Like you'll see these. I mean, they've been sitting on the shelf for years and they fall apart. How they do it, I don't know. I guess race car vibrating and everything, but.
And those hold together.
Yeah, they do. Like
For
that
sure.
thing. And John, who's Johnny's son, the Mulligan, he actually built that trophy.
Oh, really?
He built it. Yeah. Yeah, I thought that made it even neater that they did that. So.
Then this is your big check from last year.
I was gonna hang it up. I just didn't get around to it yet this morning. Yeah, it's a check for $35,000 for the overall points deal for Tilly's Ironman series. So it was a lot of work to do that deal. It was kind of a big accomplishment for us.
Right.
31 races scattered from Alabama to Central Ohio to,
Right.
and it was a pretty neat deal for us to get it. Plus $35,000 in the year that definitely helps you get, you know, help start for.
Absolutely.
That's one thing about a points deal, if it lasts all year and you get paid at the end of the year, then you've got money to put new stuff, update your stuff throughout the winter. That's one thing I do like about it.
Kind of get a jump start on
Yes.
the next season.
Yeah, because if you're running good, but then let's say you start running bad in September, you're running bad all the way through September and November. When you spent all your money, well then it's like during the winter, how in the world, like then you got to be working more hours and you know, just trying to. It really helps if you've got a little bit of a bonus at the end of the year.
Kind of puts a little more stress on you for sure if you don't.
Yeah. Yeah, and we probably upgraded more this winter than I ever have, and I feel like that was a lot of the reason, you know.
Right.
And then like this is a picture of, there's Dad, and that was Tim Yeager drove that car back. It was like a pure street or street stock, something like that back in, I don't know when that would have been. That would have probably been in the mid-90s probably, maybe even a little earlier than that.
I got you. That's like back in the real bomber days.
That's a real bomber. Like these new bombers got sheet metal bodies, plastic noses, and like,
that's not
a bomber. I like to see I like that hobby stock class that like Cumberland got going. Those guys, and most of them, it's either an old guy who's raced them his whole life, or it's a young guy that don't know nothing.
Right.
But those classes race so good, and those guys they run 15th and tear it all to pieces. They're grinning ear to ear.
Oh yeah.
Like, they have more fun at the races than any of us. So.
A lot of people go to the track for the late models, and that's rightfully so. But I've always said, you know, sometimes them support classes, if you're like a true race fan, they put on some of the best shows of the night.
Yes,
you know?
like those old guys. They wheel them.
They will.
Like, they don't drive good. Like our cars, they drive. I mean, they ain't drive the best sometimes, but they drive good.
Right.
Those things. I mean, you're sawing on the wheel. You're all the way cut left, all the way cut right, and they're beating and banging. And I love watching those classes.
And having a ball doing it.
Oh,
they love it.
Yeah, and they eat, sleep, and breathe it.
Yep.
And that's
cool.
Yeah, we've got two of those. I don't know who makes those. He goes to Eldora, and he always usually brings me one, and they're so neat.
They are.
You see him, he makes them for a lot of guys, and I just like stuff that's I like pictures, don't get me wrong, but I like stuff like that. That's
different.
It's pretty neat. We got one hanging up in our toter home. This is just kind of some odd man checklist stuff that we try to keep up during the week. It just makes it easier if we've got, you know, a general checklist there. Look, because a lot of times Bobby will be in here during the day working, I'll be out trucking.
Right.
If he ain't here when I come in, you know, he's either left a note, this needs to be done or whatever, so it just helps out a lot.
Keeps everything organized.
Yes.
So you don't overlook something.
Anymore with as much maintenance as these cars require, you've got to keep organizing it, or I do. I can't keep up if I don't.
I'm the same way. If I don't write it down, then it ain't.
Yeah, and then that's this plaque for my trucking business that my wife had made. I think she got that for me for Christmas or birthday or something. I thought it was pretty neat, so.
That is cool.
We hung it up in here, yeah. And you got our Bud Light light up sign, it's quit working. Then you got the sink and parts washer. We actually just moved the parts washer over here where all the stuff's kind of together. And wash air filters and just dirty parts and stuff. It makes it easy having, a lot nicer having a sink in here and having to go outside and do everything.
Yeah, exactly.
And then that cabinet there is just full of cleaners and stuff. And you've got some random pictures from, I think both those pictures are from Richmond, a day race they had there.
You gotta have a cabinet full of cleaners, you have to.
Yeah.
It's just,
yeah.
You got a garage, you gotta have a
It's probably full of about 10 half bottles.
That's how my garage is too.
Yeah.
Or there's a bunch of empties and you go to use them. And
And I have a garbage can sitting here and we still end up putting them back in the cabinet.
Exactly.
So.
Well, let's talk about some of the sponsors on your car, because I know without them, you know, a lot of it can't be possible.
Yeah, not much of it at all.
Yeah.
First off, you got Caden Industrial Paint, that's Steve Caden. Him and Dad were buddies back in the day, and the first late model he had, he kind of started helping us out on some motors. And I mean, he's helped me out every year. It seems like he helps more and more. He keeps all the motors up. Occasionally he'll help us out with the car, tires. If I need something to go race and I'm plumb broke or something, I call him and he'll be like, well, just let me know. But if it wasn't for him, there's no way I'd be racing go-karts or street stock or something.
Right.
He's the biggest guy that keeps this deal together. Then you got CNC Ready Mix company over in Richmond. I actually haul some sand into them, and they help us out quite a bit. Hill's Truck Repair in Virginia. He does quite a bit of truck repair on my semi whenever I need something major done. He's a big help. Then you got your product sponsors, DC, Kaiser, Rocket, Wayne Bowman. That guy has done more for racing than people realize. Like, there's been times that I'll be like, Wayne, I need this, but I'm broke. He'd be like, well, hell, just come and get it.
Right.
Pay me back later. Like,
Yeah, pay me when you can.
and like, he lets, you know, he's helped me out a whole lot from the first car we bought, we put together at Wayne's.
I got you.
So, I mean, we buy all our sheet metal, fuel, we get a whole lot of stuff from him, you know. A lot of times guys are like, well, you can just order it on there. I'm like, yeah, it ain't the same though, we can just go at Wayne's and get it. So
Yeah, and those relationships are priceless.
yes, they are. And if that's what's weird, like you build so many relationships at the races,
Yes.
I'm like, talk at racing, like, we will never see them people again.
Right.
So I think about that last night,
Yep.
it's pretty neat. And then you got Bert Transmissions, that guy's helped us out, he keeps transmissions to us throughout the year. If we tear something up, we send him, he fixes them. He's a heck of a guy.
Yeah.
He's different, he's a little different, but he's a hell of a guy.
Yeah.
You got Rick Purvis Builders, he come on last year. He'd been around the races some back in the day with Butterball. He come to the races and walked up and was like, I'd like to help you out. And I was like, are you serious? He's like, yeah. And so he worked out something and he'll come to the races. He goes about every local race we ever. He doesn't go. He'll go to 411, Smoky Mountain stuff.
Yeah.
And he's helped out a bunch. One of those guys that just a good guy to have around the
Right.
racetrack. And Set in Stone, they helped us. This is the first year they've helped us out. They actually sponsored the Fast Time Award, which I think is over there on the year we won that Mulligan race. They got big granite countertops and stuff.
Gotcha.
They're a big deal. And over in Nicholasville, you got Clayton Mobile Homes of Williamsburg. Used to be Edgewood Homes, and then I think they transferred or whatever.
Clayton's got
Yeah,
them.
Clayton's got them now, so they help out a lot. And you got Parkview Home Center. Down Springfield is just a kind of a 84 lumber type place. They've got lumber yard, they've got all
Yeah.
kinds of different stuff. My wife's mom works there, and
Gotcha.
she kind of helped us out to get a little bit of money out of those guys, and they help us out, you know, when we need. And you got SFP Performance, that's a new one this year. They do oil lines. If anybody needs any kind of oil lines, fuel lines, hydraulic lines, power steering lines, anything like that, those guys.
Go to them.
Go to them. They make the best. And they're a good price and good guys to deal with. But pretty much everybody else is the same on this side. And the Hood's got MKC Transport, which is my trucking deal.
I got you.
Come just that way, I've got my own truck. They may as well,
Right.
we'll squeeze it on here.
Yeah,
We'll
somewhere.
cater to everybody else, but we'll squeeze it in
Right.
the spot. And then on the Hood, you got Bluegrass radiators. He helps us out a whole lot, keeps some radiators. He helped us out in the car last year, so if I need anything done, he radiator fixed or new, and he keeps them in stock and helps us out a whole lot too.
You got a great looking car.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it's.
I've always liked
This
your
one looks a
thing.
whole lot better than the one we brought back from 411 last night.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's killed. We killed the whole right side on it. Yeah.
Nice.
But it looked like this one when it left, but I was gonna unload, but I didn't get time to get it unloaded. Just had both of them here.
Right.
But, yeah, it doesn't look as good as this one does now.
No, not as straight.
No, not nearly as straight.
Yeah.
Not as straight.
Well, Michael, like I said, I appreciate you letting us come down.
Anytime.
We love doing these and getting to know the drivers and the behind the scenes stuff. So make sure that you subscribe, make sure you like this video, share it out. So a lot of people can watch it, see what Michael's got going on behind the scenes. Make sure you go over and check out PopBit, popbitusa.com, and order you a PopBit. They're the latest and greatest thing for pop rivets these days. So Michael, thank you again.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And until next time, we'll see you down the road.